Hello and welcome to episode 62 of When the Flames Go Up, the ATFC podcast. This one is the Wembley Special, non-league finals day 2025. Who would have thought it, eh? Aldershot versus Spennymoor. Aldershot Town versus Spennymoor Town. Uh, this episode is a bit more of um, just a nostalgia fest, basically. Not even nostalgia. It's not even happened yet. Um, just kind of the excitement for Wembley. Some stories from Wembley from the podcast gang who sent in some voice notes, and we've got some emails to read out. Um, if you want a little preview of the actual game that's going to happen on Sunday, go and listen to episode 61 because that's got more kind of a little bit more insight. Not much, but enough to keep you going, enough to keep you excited on the train, enough that if someone asks you, "Oh, who's that? Who's the guy that plays up top for Spennymoor?" You can say, "Oh, I know, it's Glenn Taylor, and he scored over 200 goals. And did you know it's his birthday today?" Well, something. You can workshop this on the train up, okay? So just do that in your spare time, but go and listen to episode 61. Anyway, so I'm going to thread in some voice notes now from the podcast team.
Hi Will, it's Joe here. Haven't been on the podcast for a while, but what better reason to come back on than for probably the biggest game in our club's history. I've got some real nerves and trepidation and excitement as I record this, thinking ahead to the trip to Wembley on Sunday. For me, it means a lot. I have a slight confession to make that earlier in the season, when we were looking towards the bottom end of the table and our run of fixtures, our game against Wealdstone, I was in the early rounds of the trophy, I was quite happy to sort of say, I'm not too worried about the result. But as we've kicked on and sort of we look more safe in the league, the excitement's been really able to build. And after that Woking game, and the elation of that, it's just been, seems like an age now for the game to come round, and I absolutely can't wait. What it means for me, I've been following the Shots my whole life, having never lived in Aldershot, but been brought up to support them as it's been my dad's, as it was my dad's team and has become my team as I grow up. And it means everything, this game. Going to Wembley it's the mecca of football, really, and it's always been the thing that I've done with my dad, and for us to share that together, it's going to be amazing. We're going to do it the proper supporters way. Obviously, living in Devon, we don't normally go on the supporters coach, but we're going to drive up to Aldershot on the Sunday morning, get on the supporters coach to Wembley, and then take in both games. Slightly nervous now going in as favourites for this game, but just to be there is going to be absolutely amazing. I've got a couple of shots. Extra shots to come and support us, and one's a Palace fan, one's a York fan. The Palace fan's got plenty of trips to Wembley this month, lucky for him, and hopefully it's a good luck for another team in red and blue. Absolutely can't wait, and I've got a few thoughts here to share, if I may, from my my dad and my good mate as well. So I've got some thoughts about the Wembley trip sent over from my dad, James. So my dad once decided not to take a fishing trip from Exmouth, as the boat was called, the Nearly But Not Quite. He says that following the Shots for 50 years, that has so often been the experience, nearly but not quite. In recent times, that includes 2 previous trophy semis, narrowly missing out on playoffs, and even when we did make the playoff final, we had to trek to Stoke. Nearly Wembley, yeah, but not quite. Older fans will remember Shrewsbury 1979, nearly but not quite, FA Cup quarter-finalists. Of course, there have been some great days at home and away, but they don't come more special than a trip to Wembley. For my dad, it brings back memories of matches in his teens, full of hope before kick-off at the Rec, or travelling on the supporters club coach. Even the journey, a mere 6 or 7 hours for us this time, is anticipated with excitement. What time will we leave? Where shall we stop for breakfast? We've made it to Wembley, not nearly, but really this time. So these are the thoughts of my good friend Andrew Hester, who's another long-suffering Aldershot fan, and I think he summed up excellently what it means for us to get to Wembley. He says, When invited by the FA to play England in a friendly, the first question asked by the opposing nation is, will the match be played at Wembley? For of course, the home of English football is also the spiritual home of world football, and to visit the cathedral in an otherwise uninspiring area of North London to watch your team play is akin to a visit to Mecca or Golgotha. It is a pilgrimage, and, like all pilgrims, seeing the arch atop this vast edifice of concrete and steel will evoke joy, trigger memories, and inspire meditation. I honestly cannot predict how it will be for me personally, but I can perhaps give a token insight. When the players of Aldershot Town walk out onto the hallowed turf, I will be transported upon a crest of a vast red and blue wave of noise and emotion. The sights, the sounds, the emotions will be mine, but also my dear brothers, my mum's and my dad's. In that moment, I'll be on the East Bank, the slab, the footpath and the North Stand, cheering the ghosts of heroes past, who wore the red and blue with such pride, skill and determination. In that brief metaphysical moment, everything that was, is and will be Aldershot Town Football Club will stand tall, together, in our own nirvana. What will it mean to go to Wembley? It will mean the world.
Hi Will, Ian here. I'll be heading to Wembley via the Elizabeth line from Burnham, then probably making a slow way up to the stadium via Marylebone, meeting my brother, who's an exiled Shots fan living in Birmingham. Probably do a few pubs near Baker Street and then into Wembley itself. I have seats in block 142 along the side, and I'm looking forward to that view, as my previous visits to Wembley watching England were almost always behind the goal on the higher tiers. I still think, as mentioned in the episode after the Woking game, that finally getting to Wembley and the journey there will feel better than being there, but I hope to be proved wrong. It's a great occasion for the club and the town, and I really hope that this is an opportunity to pick up more fans to become regulars and to create a real sustainable future for ATFC. Therefore, before I wasn't too fussed about winning and just wanted to be there to play Spennymoor, but I think the result now is very important, and I think it's really crucial that we put up a good display to convert those who don't attend that often or perhaps never before into becoming regulars. Cheers.
Hi, Will. So to talk about what the upcoming game at Wembley, I mean, this is going to be quite something. Honestly, I don't even think it really matters if we lose, although if we win, it is the icing on the cake. Just the idea of Aldershot being at Wembley, which is something that I don't think any of us have ever envisaged before, and the opportunities in the past when the team might have played at Wembley, and I'm thinking, the 1987 playoff final, or back in 2004 the playoff final from the conference. These were times when the Wembley just wasn't available; it wasn't an option, and so I've watched as the years have passed as they decided to play these games there with a lot of envy, and the thought that we're actually going to be able to do it now is just, I can't wait for it. I should really say that at this point, I've been preparing the family here in near Geneva for the possibility that I would be coming to the game if we got to the final, and so each stage in the FA Trophy competition, as we advanced, I would reiterate the point that I would probably be leaving for this game, and certainly I will be coming. I am leaving. I'm going to be travelling to England from Geneva this coming weekend to take part in this festival of football. Of course, I doubt I am going to be the one who's travelled the furthest. I'm sure you're going to get people commenting on that. As for the tickets, those have been got for me by my cousin. I'm going to be going with him and his family, as well as my uncle, who has pretty much been one of the main people that I go to games with since I was a child. When after the Woking game, we had a slightly tearful chat. Normally we just WhatsApp each other, but in this instance we actually spoke to each other, and we both just wished that his father, my grandfather, was still alive to see this. But yeah, so we're going to be going a group of 10 of us, and we're going to be in block 141, which I think means we're going to be in the same block as Joe, and Joe has threatened to hug me if we win, or at least if we score. In terms of how we're going to actually do this, I'm not quite sure how, because we haven't. Obviously, the tickets are going to my cousin, so we're going to have to try and sort of fix up ways to meet up, because I'm going to be staying in Wimbledon and travelling up to Wembley. My uncle is going to be coming from Aldershot, and my cousin from Bath. So we're going to have some kind of rendezvous. I'm not quite sure how and when, but we will sort that out at the weekend. This is going to be the first time I've been to Wembley in more than 30 years. The last time I went was the old stadium, and I remember watching England against Brazil. In fact, it was I think Gary Lineker scored his last goal there before going on to the European Championships. Maybe it was 92, maybe not 91. Either way, it was an England-Brazil game. That I do remember. And I think prior to that, I had been to Wembley to see, I think it was an England schoolboys game against Scottish schoolboys. Don't even ask, that would have been in the late 80s. Don't even ask me who won or who was playing. But I just remember a lot of high-pitched voices cheering. Obviously, it was a cathedral of football, and it was nowhere near full. I don't think even the England-Brazil game was. And I think also maybe my first visit to Wembley would have been around 1988. It was either just after the Wimbledon-Liverpool FA Cup final. I remember being taken there with my younger brother and a family friend on a tour of Wembley, and I remember we walked up the famous steps where the cup is given. I think they even had a mock cup for you to show to the adoring crowds. So that's kind of my memories of Wembley, obviously pre-Reformation. So I'm really curious to see what it's going to look like. And having seen images of Wembley way over recent years, it has changed considerably from what I remember it. So it's going to be quite a confusing time trying to meet up with my uncle and cousin and everybody else. But we are totally ready. We're ready. We've got the scarves, we've got the shirts. And we are looking forward to it, and I'm sure we will have much to celebrate.
So, Will, the Day of Reckoning is just a few days away now, and safe to say I speak for many Shot supporters in saying that I've been waiting all my life for a trip to Wembley, and I'm almost feeling at the moment that it doesn't matter what the result's going to be. The bits for me that are going to really stand out, I'm sure, are going to be the sight of seeing circa 20,000 Aldershot supporters in one place at one time, making a noise. Just singing those songs at Wembley is going to send a shiver down my spine. Just the build-up as well. Wembley Way in red and blue is going to be a sight to behold. Just you're going into Box Park in Wembley and seeing Shot supporters everywhere, even the train up in the morning. It's just going to be those sorts of memories that I'm sure I will take away. And also I'm really grateful that we live in an age of social media, because whatever the result is going to be at the weekend, I'm sure I'm going to dine out on so many clips of the day from fellow Shot supporters from all around the world as well. So we've come close a few years when I thought it might happen, but it never did. And I remember talking to quite a few people, and we made it on the podcast a thing not to mention Wembley. It was always the W word, and perhaps that's what we should have done all the way through this. Over the last sort of 50 years I've supported them, perhaps not mention it until it actually happens, but it's going to happen, and I for one, and I'm taking my son with me, will both be remembering this day for a long time. Strangely, and again other supporters may understand this, but I'm also going to stop at my dad's crematorium. He passed away a few years ago, and his wish was always to take me to Wembley. So that's going to be quite an emotional moment for me. Just going to see him before the day as well. But it's actually my son's first trip to see the shots in a long time, and I guess that's again the same with a lot of supporters. But he made me laugh the other day. I've just come back from a trip to Orlando, and we took in the MLS game, Orlando City versus Atlanta, which was fantastic actually. The atmosphere was amazing, and he remarked on how incredible the halftime celebrations were, and he then turned to me and said, what do Aldershot do at halftime? So I had a little chuckle to myself and said, well, a few guys kick a ball at the crossbar for a tenner. So he's going to enjoy the day for sure. He's going to love Wembley, and I know that thousands will, whatever the result, whatever the scoreline, thousands of people will take these memories away. So I want to just finish this message by thanking the players and Tommy as a manager for getting us there. There'll always be those people that say, well, you had an easy draw, every team that you played were below you, but you've still got to beat those teams. Sittingbourne was a tough one, even though we ended up comfortable 3-0 winners. Sittingbourne knocked out Southend in the previous round. So you have to treat each game professionally, do the job and get through to the next one. So thanks to the players and the management team for providing not only me with this day, but also the thousands of shot supporters that are going to enjoy the day too. So I'm travelling up on the Saturday night, staying over locally. I live in Wales, so I'm staying over locally in Surrey, and then heading up by train, probably around about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at the latest, something like that, because I want to, as I said earlier, really sample the atmosphere. The walk up Wembley Way is going to be something really special for me too. And then my son said, what time are we leaving? And I honestly couldn't answer that question. I don't know what's going to happen after the match, whether we just leave or whether we mill around and enjoy the atmosphere some more. But so looking forward to this day, and cannot wait to also hear the podcast for this week, and just to hear other people's stories and history and what it means to them too. So I'm signing out now, Will, with this, and obviously we'll catch up, I'm sure, at Wembley on Sunday. So me and my son, we will be in level 2. I think it's block 244, which is pretty much in line with the corner flag from level 2. So been told it's a really good vantage point to watch the game, and the thing I'm looking forward to there is that obviously I'll be able to see the whole of level 1 and also look up and see the whole of level 5, which, looking at the ticket sale numbers that are left, it looks like we have pretty much sold our allocation of 19,000. And in fact, it's going to be more like 20,000, because after the 19,000 was allocated, they have opened up another lower block down below, which will be another 800 or so tickets. And also today they have allocated another block in the 500s just above the raw box too, which look like they're selling out fast. So yeah, I anticipate there being over 20,000 there on the day. And I'll have a great view from block 244.
Okay, we are back. I hope you're all pleasantly, hope you're all warmed up in your Wembley ways after those voice notes and getting excited on your side of Hampshire or Surrey. We've had an email from Chris Wembley. He says, hearing your mention of no Wembley without the shots pledge in the latest episode, I think this was a few episodes ago to be fair, It reminded me that I've already been to Wembley with the shots, namely the junior shots. Here we go. In the early 90s, they organised a trip to see England's schoolboys play there. Our opponents were either Holland or Scotland. Around that time, I also went to one with the club I played for, Alton United, and can't remember which was which. What's more, there was an FA Trophy link at Wembley. They had a load of unsold hats from the Barrow versus Leek Town final of a few weeks earlier, which they were given away, and a lot of young shots grabbed them. It would be a true in the know Easter egg if someone wore one of those to the game in May. Crazy. If anyone's got one of those, please let us know. We need to try and what's the word? Circumnavigate. No. Triangulate all of the Barrow versus Leek Town hats in the world. And he also adds, unfortunately, I won't be back as I've already have a trip back booked for the start of the next season. Hopefully he's there. Come on, Chris. It's Morecambe and Carlisle away. Surely one of those, which he can't realistically move. However, one of his mates, a Peterborough fan, now lives near Whiteleaf and watches them. So he'll be going and has pledged to cheer the shots on my behalf. Brilliant. Thank you, Chris. He also says, keep up the good work and have a great day in May. And we will have a great day in May. And I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for a Barrow versus Leek Town hat amid the sea of red and blue. And we've also had an email from Aaron. Aaron says, my story is literally like yours about not going to Wembley till the shots get there. But my story starts when I started supporting the shots after my dad took me to my first game, and it had to be the East Bank, of course, against Forge United. I believe it was 2-2, and said I really enjoyed it and was given my first season ticket for my birthday, which was the 2002 free season. And of course, got to the playoff final. I think that was the 03-04. But listen, I'm out by about 5 years on dates and times. From then, it was 11 seasons as a ticket holder till work took a preference. I don't think it's a preference. I think he still absolutely loves it. From then on, with also having a child, being a family man, and money being tight, I'm only able to get to some games. But I won't be the only Shots fan to say we've been through thick and thin. But getting and being at Wembley will seal the deal for a lot of us, and hopefully from this we can kick on and get back to the Football League from next season. Up the Shots. Thank you, Aaron. And he'll be one of the 21 in my physical ticket. Did you just hear that? That's the tickets just falling on the table a little bit. I'm treating them with great care. Don't worry. So yeah, that is basically it. I mean, I guess to sum up my thoughts so early on, I mean, I'm all up in the air. Not sure how to feel. I was speaking to my friends last week when I came back from Berlin. They're running odds on how many times I cry, at which points I cry, and so they're doing an under and over 2.5 cries for the day. So yeah, we'll see. I'll give you an update on that next week. Yeah, my excitement is only going to build. I feel like a 4-day week building into a Sunday final is basically what dreams are made of. And yeah, it's beginning to feel real. I think that's the thing that I've held off quite well. I think I've basically thought this is fake, and we're going to be punked at some point, and they're going to say, you're not really in the final, and something else, something mad happens. I think we are actually going to play in an FA Trophy final, and that's pretty amazing. I'm really excited to go to Wembley for the first time. It's going to be great. So yeah, I mean, this is just a note, just to say, I mean, have the best day. Whatever you get up to, whether you're at the Green Man, the Globe, Hole in the Wall, the Jubilee Line, the Met Line, Wembley Way, Box Park. Are you seriously going to Box Park? Crazy. I've been there, but I would not pay £12 to go in there ever again. It's too loud. All I want to do is talk to people about the Wembley experience. I don't want to have to shout over people that are singing Sweet Caroline. Also, if I hear that song, I think I'll just walk off. I'm not rising to it. Anyway, enough of that. Enough of that jabber. Enjoy all your days. and we'll be back next week to discuss the season, the game, all that awards stuff next week, and that'll be the end of it for a season. So we have one more game, one more massive game. I'm again jabbering on. I'm very lucky to be able to celebrate it with all my nearest and dearest people that have been with me up and down the country, watching Aldershot at places like Chorley, your Gatesheads, all those places, your Wrexham, all these places that when people mention these towns and you say, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that," and they ask you why, and you're not pushing them to like, you're not saying, "Oh yeah, I went there for an away day." You're just saying, "Oh, I've heard of Chorley, yeah, yeah, yeah," and then they say, "How do you know it? Or what did you remember from it?" And I can say, "I watched the worst game of football there ever," and that just brings you in to that conversation, and you are a completely new being. You are now connected to this person. So that those people are going to be there. My family's going to be there. Mum and Dad coming to a game. You're joking, aren't you? My mum took me to Weymouth away when we were on holiday in August. Going to say 2007 maybe. And I was like, "Oh, we got to go behind the goal. Got to go behind the goal." And she said, "Fine, let's go behind the goal." So we sat in behind the goal. I don't know why I ever thought that behind the goal was very good. You're just looking for a net. And anyway, we the players were training. We got in there quite early, like half an hour before. And yeah, she had some glasses on the top of her head and a ball. I'm not sure if what player. I wanna just randomly say Will Antwi or something. It popped over the bar and smacked her on the top of the head, knocking her glasses flying. And yeah, most of the stand into laughter and also, "Oh, are you all right?" She was fine, and was able to drive me back. So that's all good. I think I can't remember if we won that night. Literally can't remember any of it. Too many sweets, I imagine. Yeah. So that's what I get. I get to take these people to Wembley, and yeah, my dad's never been to Wembley, the new Wembley, plenty of times to the old Wembley and Millennium Stadium, but never to the new Wembley. So there's so many new things to tick off this weekend, and I'm very excited to do it. It's mind blowing, isn't it? Crazy. Right. Well, enjoy all your weekends. Enjoy Sunday, and if you're like me and booking a day off on Monday, have a nice day on Monday, recovering from what will always be one of the great days of being an Aldershot Town fan. So up the shots.